Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga are the biggest draws to watch the Conjuring franchise. It's a shared horror universe, with Easter eggs and demonic origin stories, but the real star power is the Wilson and Farmiga pairing as the Warrens. Even when they reprise their roles for limited screen time in the spin-offs, they can instantly elevate each one, if only momentarily. And with Last Rites being marketed as the apparent finale of the main installments, there's no better time to feel nostalgic and look back on the film that started it all, The Conjuring. It turned Annabelle into a horror icon and introduced the chemistry between Wilson and Farmiga. But there is someone else who should get recognition for their part in scaring you. That is Lili Taylor, who got a horror role that finally did her right after director James Wan loosely adapts the supposed real haunting of the Perron family for the first Conjuring. Taking audiences back to the early 1970s, the Perrons move into a new home, where every member is targeted in some way by the witch Bathsheba, who haunts them for having taken her land. The person who experiences the worst of it is the mother, Carolyn, played by Lili Taylor. Among the many victims of the many demons and ghosts in the Conjuring universe, Taylor's performance remains one of the best portrayals, and it's time she gets the credit for what she brings to this 2013 film. Taylor brings warmth to her scenes with Carolyn's large family as the movie spends time with them before things go bump in the night. Although there are money problems, Carolyn and her husband, Joey King, as one of the middle children, gets a terrifying scene when her bedroom is invaded by the witch. But Taylor gets some of the biggest scares, with The Conjuring doing everything to make you worry about her as she becomes more vulnerable. Blindfolded while playing the hide-and-clap game with her youngest, Carolyn doesn't notice the child she hears is one of the spirits of the house. She wakes up with new bruises on her, making for one unsettling scene where, alone, Carolyn inspects the marks on her body. The worry on Lili Taylor's face can be felt off the screen, and the fear that overtakes her is just as deep-seated. It's one of the great sequences when a late-night haunting makes her investigate noises and clapping throughout the house until she is trapped in the basement. And what makes her performance even stronger is that it brings the best out of the actress, unlike a past supernatural horror role she took on years before. The name Carolyn, a malevolent ghost, and an old-school haunted house that has been modernized can describe The Conjuring as much as it can describe The Haunting, except the results couldn't have been more different. Lili Taylor's horror credits include the vampiric The Addiction, as well as the slashers Leatherface and Fear Street, Prom Queen, but none quite match the disappointment that can be felt with The Haunting. The remake of the 1963 classic, which first adapted Shirley Jackson's chilling novel, stars Lili Taylor as the emotionally troubled Eleanor, who becomes a test subject for an experiment on fear while staying at an old mansion. Isolated from having a life of her own for years, Taylor plays Eleanor with bursts of glee that something exciting is happening to her, until her curiosity turns into fear when she finds out not all the ghosts of Hill House are friendly. The movie has a beautiful gothic horror setting, with an ornate set design and a soundscape that makes it seem like the mansion is alive and breathing. The movie wastes the potential with CGI ghosts and barely any scares. The psychological horror of the 1963 film is gone. Mike Flanagan's adaptation is not even as faithful to the original source material, and still manages to continue the tragedy and terror of Jackson's tale much better. The Haunting becomes convoluted with backstory and big reveals when Eleanor uncovers a series of child deaths with clues from one of the ghosts, Carolyn. It would be 14 years later, but The Conjuring gave Lili Taylor the haunted house she deserved, and then it went one step further with a complete arc to play during the witch's endgame. The kind and vulnerable side of Eleanor might as well have been a practice run for her role of Carolyn Perron. Taylor is tormented by the supernatural, like in The Haunting, before she gets to play the monster too.